Hi guys, happy Wednesday. How's everyone? So we had the Independence Day yesterday and we started the week strong with the full moon in Capricorn. So how's everybody doing today? This is a bit of a reflection of everything that just passed and everything that we heading towards. So I just wanted to mention a few things. Of course, that I dissected the full moon in Capricorn quite in depth with my friend Adrian in our collaboration that I posted on my YouTube channel. But I wanted to come back to a few of these aspects because they are connected to what's happening in the sky right now. So as of yesterday, actually, Moon is transiting through the sign of Aquarius. As soon as Moon moved into the sign of Aquarius, it made a square to the lunar nodes. Today, Moon squared Jupiter, and tomorrow it's going to square Uranus. It's also making in conjunction to Sun, and it's going to make in conjunction to Mercury, and also it will be opposing both Venus and Mars. And then as soon as it moves into Pisces tomorrow, it will make a trine to actually to South Node and sextile to the North Node. So Moon has been very, very active, as it always is, but we're paying a strong attention to Moon this month because we are in a Cancer season and Moon is the ruler of both Sun and Mercury at the moment, even though Mercury will change sign next week, and also and so will Mars. And that's why Moon is very prominent, because it's actually showing us all this, is uncovering all these things for us that maybe we didn't connect with for a while, because it's bringing a lot of feelings into the surface. It's also making us travel down the memory lane, because Cancer rules our memories, our past, our ancestral line, our family, our childhood. Because it's all connected to where we came from, what created our identity, our ego identity, how we see and identify ourselves in the current times. And as I mentioned, Moon currently is in a sign of Aquarius, so it's giving us kind of like an idea of what there is still blocking us, that is making us feel that we cannot set ourselves free, that we cannot go towards what we want. And as it made the square to Jupiter, again, the universe is hinting breadcrumbs that things are connected to our belief system. Tomorrow, Mercury will be making square to Chiron. And as we know, Chiron is our collective wound, is this fear to move into unknown and to go follow our destiny, even if we need to do it alone, like Aries, you just go after what you feel is the right thing for you. And you don't always have to not consider other people, but we have the tendency to put other people first, whereas this is something that's going to shift as of 17th of July, when the North Node is going to move into the sign of Aries. So anyway, so as we have these two squares playing, well, actually quite a few squares, because as I mentioned, Moon will also square Uranus and oppose both Venus and Mars in Leo, and make in conjunction to Mercury and Sun in Cancer. And in conjunction is the blind spot, something that we don't know, something that we can't see at the moment. And just going back briefly to this full moon in Capricorn, it happened in opposition with Mercury, trine to Jupiter, and there were two in conjunction between Mars and Venus and Neptune, and Mars and Venus and Pluto from the other side. And actually the exact in conjunction between Mars and Neptune is happening on July 7th, and the exact in conjunction between Venus and Neptune is happening on July 16th, just the day before we have a new moon in Cancer. So anyway, what is this telling us? What are all these aspects telling us? All this astrological jargon is that there is still a lot that is unresolved. It's a lot that is holding us back, and it's all connected to the way we think, to our past, and to our belief system, to the programming, to the things that we are not even aware of, because they are so deeply embedded in our subconscious mind. And currently Moon traveling through the zodiac and being the center stage, because we are in Cancer season, as I mentioned. Moon is highlighting all these things, is making us feel into them, it's bringing them to the surface as emotions, as messengers, as I mentioned in my previous videos. Our emotions are messengers. So now in Cancer season is this perfect opportunity to actually feel into what is still unresolved, because these emotions are letting us go, are letting us know that there are still this something that is enabling us to move forward. Because as we know, Pluto is back in the sign of Capricorn, retrograde. The ruler Saturn is in a sign of Pisces, which is the end of the cycle, dissolving what no longer holds a meaning, an inspiration to us. And also the ruler of Saturn, Neptune, is now retrograde as well. And as we know, Venus is preparing for her retrograde. She will station retrograde on July 22nd or 23rd, where it depends where you are in the world. And she will be in retrograde until September, and she will remain in the sign of Leo until October. So that's a long stint for Venus over there. And there will be more planets joining this retrograde. And this retrograde is giving us the time and opportunity to go back in time and over what has happened already. And perhaps we might want to course correct. Perhaps this wasn't the right thing. It gave us this lesson. It gave us this opportunity to find out what it would be like to go in that direction. But now we're realizing what works and what doesn't, and gives us an opportunity to make a new choice under old circumstances. So when the circumstances and the opportunities come around again, we have the opportunity to make a new choice, which will take us in different direction. And that's what the nodal shift into the sign of Aries and Libra will be all about, because Aries is the new direction, is the new beginning, is starting from the scratch. So that's where the focus will be. And actually during this move, Mars will already be in a sign of Virgo, which is very important, because Virgo Pisces axis is this which we're trying to heal from the conditioning of the 2000 years of Pisces, where we were conditioned to sacrifice and don't worry about what you need, just do everything for everybody else and put yourself last, and all this kind of programming which doesn't serve us, because look at the state of the world and how many people are unhappy and depressed and have to suppress their emotions because it's just too much to feel. But currently in the during this Cancer season, while Sun is traveling through the sign of Cancer and Moon is touching everything in the zodiac, and all these planets is making aspects to every single planet, every single aspect possible. And this is the time where all these feelings are highlighted. They are being conscious and coming to the surface to let us know what it is that we maybe forgot, that maybe we weren't even aware of, that it was there all this long time. And again, I would like to mention how my clients are teaching me so much about myself and about astrology and about the cycles of life, because there was another experience where my client found out about self-love and what actually that really means, not what we've been told it means, like, oh yeah, you have to exercise and you have to go for massage and you have to eat organic food and stuff, but that's not all that it means. There are other aspects to it, and very important aspect of that is put your needs first. And that's why Jupiter is now in Taurus, because it's teaching us about ourselves. It's highlighting the truth, the truth, whether they are still the truth or not to us, about ourselves, our needs, our values, our self-worth, our self-love, most and foremost. And that's why this is so important. And as I mentioned, today Moon is squaring Jupiter. And Moon is in a sign of Aquarius, so it's saying, okay, well, in order to break free and individuate, what do you believe about yourself? And is that still the right thing? Is that still supporting you? Is it helping you to go after what you want, to self-actualize, and all this that is happening for us in the sky, with Mars and Venus still being in a sign of Leo? But as I mentioned, there is the inconjunction. There is the inconjunction, the blind spot leading to Neptune and leading to Pluto, which is again telling us about the past. What is it of the past that is still holding us back, that is still keeping us stuck? And I know that I keep talking about the same things, but there are the same things happening in the sky. There is just different point of view of looking at these aspects, because this is so important. And for a lot of people, even though, and for myself included, even though we might have the logical explanation, and we might, like, with our mind think about it and go like, oh yeah, I understand this, I know it, yeah. But are we really implementing it in our everyday reality? Because as we know, majority of our day is run by our subconscious mind, and we don't necessarily know what is in our subconscious mind. The only way we're going to find that out is through triggers and our emotions, because the emotions are the messengers. And triggers are reminding us what it is that is still unresolved. So now being in a Cancer season, as I keep repeating, moon traveling through the entire zodiac and influencing the sun, and sun is like shining the torch, like, okay, this is what is unresolved, this is what we need to feel into, this is the thing of the past, the memory that perhaps is resurfacing, which we forgot long time ago, and we go like, oh yeah, you know, I never thought about it that way, I forgot about this, I forgot this happened. And yeah, now that explains everything. That explains so many things. And as I mentioned, even, you know, through my clients like having a reading with me, sometimes certain things come to the surface which were long forgotten, which we completely forgotten about. And now we go like, oh yeah, I observed my mother doing that, or I observed my father doing that. And that is now kind of subconsciously ruling my life. And is it the right thing for me? Because, of course, we have the compassion for our parents and understanding that they didn't know any better. They did the best they could. Majority of the parents, I'm not saying everyone, but majority of the parents did the best they could, and they didn't know any better. But is that still the best we can do? Is that still the best for us? And now let's not go into this Virgo, which this Mars going through Virgo is, again, will try to help us resolve, but that's for another video. But let's not go into this need for perfection, because it's again the need for compassion and forgiveness and healing. And now with the Cancer season, and Cancer is in a sextile with Virgo naturally in the natural zodiac, we have the opportunity to feel it, to heal it, to feel it, to heal it. As I mentioned in my last video, we need to feel it to heal it. And for me personally, I am experiencing this very strongly because as a lot of people with their tool and their skill, they try to help everyone else, but sometimes I forget to check my own chart, and I didn't even realize that Neptune is actually trining my Saturn. Neptune retrograde is and has been and will be, because it's going back and forth over my natal Saturn, and my natal Saturn is in retrograde. And actually now the Saturn in the skies is in Pisces, which of course is not in a degree yet, but it is going to make a trine to my natal Saturn at some point. And actually it has been trining my natal Pluto, and it was coming closer into trining my south node, and all these things are happening for me personally, and I don't even pay attention, because I'm so focused on helping my clients. Exactly what we've been programmed: you help the other person. But that's not how it works, because you have to put the oxygen mask on first. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, I didn't even realize this has been happening. And with this Capricorn season, I am very, very strongly aware of the Capricorn season of the past December, because that's when I moved into Mexico. That's when I was in Mexico. And that was just before I started my YouTube channel, and just before I started doing astrology professionally. And all these things were happening in my life. I was going through all these crisis in a sense, because of the loss of my former relationship and trying to find my new definition of reality. Of course, I relocated, so I moved my home with me, and all these things were happening. And now coming into this full moon in Capricorn 2 days ago, this full cycle, a lot of things are again coming to the surface. Again, the things of the past, like, oh, again, I thought that, oh, this story of me and my ex-boyfriend is already gone, and now feelings are resurfacing again with this moon traveling around the zodiac, touching everything. And actually today, moon is conjuncting my natal Jupiter in Aquarius, and I'm Aquarius rising, so it had conjuncted my ascendant. So moon is highlighting a lot of things for me, for me personally, just as much as for everyone else. But I wasn't even paying attention, and I was even saying to my best friend, and I was saying like, why am I going over this old story again? I thought it was done and dusted. I already made so many videos about this, trying to share my experience to help other people, and this is coming to the surface again. I'm like, why am I wasting my time over this? It's a done deal. It's closed chapter. But no, apparently not. Apparently there are still feelings connected to this that need acknowledgement. So that's why this moon is now bringing all these things to the surface and conjuncting my Jupiter, and my Jupiter natally squares my nodes and all these things. And again, what do you believe? Are you still attached to the past? Do you still believe this person is coming back to make the happy ever after or whatever? Like, no, because it's my first house. It's like, no, you are the creator of your reality. You have to free yourself. You have to, like, for me, this is my case because I'm Aquarius rising. Like, I cannot externalize my power to someone else, because my natal sun is actually in opposition with my Pluto. So I know every time I give my power to someone else, the person gets removed from my life. And this is just, for me personally, the breadcrumbs that are again coming to the surface, the emotions that are triggering these memories and perhaps highlighting these old outdated belief systems and making me to introspect, to go over it again, you know, with this full moon in Capricorn. You know, I have to integrate this information, become my own authority. Like, no, I cannot depend on someone else and, you know, tell me the direction of my life and take over and fix everything for me. No, like, that is my job. I'm Sun Taurus, Taurus Sun. I have to make sure that I can take care of my own needs, not externalize it to someone else. So anyway, guys, I don't want to make this video about me, but I'm just trying to show in an example how this can be working out, how this can be showing up in your life. And I was even thinking how constantly there is this, oh yeah, we have to take an action, you know, now Sun is in this masculine sign and now Sun is in the feminine. But that's how it goes in the zodiac. You know, the masculine is replaced by the feminine. The zodiac starts with the masculine signs and ends with the feminine, and everything in between. We have a 6 of each. We have a half equal share of the masculine and feminine energy. So as the Sun is transiting through masculine sign and feminine sign, masculine sign and feminine sign, and all the other planets are moving, as we know, Mercury sometimes changes signs twice a month. Mars is going to change sign again. Well, Venus is stuck in Leo for a while because she will be retrograde there. But some planets are moving fast, and again they move in between masculine, feminine, and then of course we have the big planets. You know, Jupiter moves like once a year, Saturn once every 2.5, 3 years, and then we have the big guys, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. They take years, decades in some cases, in Pluto's case, decades to stay in one sign. So that's like an opportunity to go deeper. This is affecting our subconscious mind, but these planets that are the, you know, luminaries, Sun and Moon, they are moving so fast, and all these personal planets, they are giving us the opportunity to acknowledge the feminine and masculine aspect of ourselves. Like, where do we need to take action and where do we need to retrieve and feel into things? And that's what's happening for us at the moment. At the moment, there is certain activity in masculine sign. We know Venus and Mars is still in a Leo, which is saying that yes, you know, like go and take action of what gives you a sense of joy and pleasure and happiness, because this should be constant. This should be every day. Every day we should be doing something that makes us happy. But Sun is highlighting the emotions. It's saying that, oh, we'll need to feel it to heal it. Yeah, we need to feel into what needs still healing. And with these inconjunctions that are happening, and as I mentioned, this inconjunction between Mars and Neptune is becoming exact in 2 days' time. But it's already within degree and has been within the degree since the full moon in Capricorn. And this is something that is blind spot. There is something we don't know. And the only way we're going to find out, actually, the traditional ruler of Neptune, of Pisces, and therefore Neptune at the moment, is Jupiter. And Jupiter is in Taurus. And Taurus is again about you, about your body, about your sensory experience, about, well, Jupiter in Taurus, about what we believe about ourselves and all these things. So as we can see, everything is going in circles and again highlighting the same messages. And now currently Moon traveling through the sign of Aquarius is giving us this feeling of, you know, of course, it's also allowing us to be a little bit objective and detached, but at the same time, is giving us the opportunity to feel into what do we still need to do and resolve in order to go after this life of liberation and sovereignty and individuation, because Moon in Aquarius wants to set itself free. And now, as I mentioned, it's squaring Jupiter, and it's going to be opposing Venus and Mars, and it's in conjuncting Mercury and Sun. And all this stuff is happening for us at the moment, and that's make us again sensitive to these topics, like you know, reflecting on how does this make me feel, what memories are resurfacing for me that are reminding me of whether that this is a part of my everyday reality or not. And and as I said, tomorrow Moon is going to move into Pisces. So it's going to make a positive aspect to the nodes, and it's going to conjunct Saturn, and it's going to conjunct Neptune at some point. And so it goes. So it goes. Moon will keep moving and keep making aspects to everything, and keep making us sensitive to all these topics, and keep bringing all these messages to the surface, all these messengers that are bringing us the message of what still needs to be resolved, because it hasn't been yet. And now Saturn retrograde in Pisces, and Neptune retrograde in Pisces, and Pluto retrograde in Capricorn is giving us an opportunity to resolve anything of the past that still is unresolved. And Saturn will be in Pisces for 3 years. So we have this 3 years opportunity to completely redefine our reality, to take over, to become the driver of our life, to get behind the driving wheel of our life. And in order for that to happen, as I mentioned with Adrian in my video about full moon in Capricorn, we have to take responsibility, and we have to have emotional maturity to do that, and also resilience, because that's what's all this Scorpionic theme, to understand the law in impermanence, and understand that nothing lasts forever, and we have to become resilient, and we have to become self-reliant, and the main person to trust and rely on is yourself. So to stop externalizing our power. And that's what all these energies that are happening in the sky right now, and has been and will be, because we'll have the Nodal Shift, we have Venus station in retrograde, we have Pluto, the squares between Pluto and the nodes happening 3 times. So there is so much activity happening. And as I mentioned, we have two planets changing signs, and that's Mars moving into the sign of Virgo and Mercury moving into the sign of Leo. So there are a lot of shifts. We have this week is kind of a little bit of a breather, when we have a lunar moment. There was so much energy building up towards the full moon in Capricorn to help us realize what needs integration. That's been happening in the past 6 months with the Capricornian theme. So who is the authority of your life? Who is in charge? Or where there is a restriction and sense of disempowerment because somebody else holds the power. And this was the great build up, and now we have a little bit of a breather. Obviously, the moon is triggering all these aspects of our charts that are making us feel into it, and the sun is shining the light into it. And as I mentioned, tomorrow we have the square between Mercury and Chiron. So again, what is it that we are still believing that is connected to ourselves and our old identity and our sense of safety and security that is enabling us to go into this new direction, to give ourselves permission to put ourselves first and do what we feel is right for ourselves. Of course, not harming other people, but also not depending and waiting for other people to validate our experience, because Mars and Venus are still in Leo, and that's saying about creative self-actualization and self-validation. So so this is what's going on. There is many major aspects going on this week. And then, of course, we're gonna move into the next week, where there will be the planets changing the sign, and that will be again starting the build up towards the new moon in Cancer, and so on and so forth. So anyway, guys, so this is what I've got. I just wanted to hop on and share some reflections, share some of my memories and some of my feelings that are coming to the surface and getting triggered and needs to be looked at and perhaps realigned and redirected. And so we can go forward. We can go forward without having to repeat the past, and having to have to relearn the same lessons. So this is the opportunity with the Cancer season to feel it, to heal it, and redirect the course of our lives. So as I mentioned, we don't have to relive the past experiences if they no longer serve us, and let it go. And so the story goes, and so the planet moves, and as above, so below, and so on and so forth. So everything is always happening for us, not to us, for us, to support us on our evolutionary path. So anyway, guys, enjoy today, enjoy this moon traveling through the sign of Aquarius and giving you this feeling into what needs to be done in order for you to liberate yourself and become the Aquarian. And I'll leave it at here, and I'll speak to you again soon. Much love to everyone. Bye for now.